Hey everybody, this is Brent, and welcome to Brent's Crossroads. And coming at you today, I've got my tour of Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas. So here we go. Let's get going. All right, we're going to start on deck 3. Deck 1 is just the cabin rooms, the where you get on and off of the ship, the medical station. Floor 3 is where everything starts. Here's the door to the Lyric Theater. From the Lyric Theater, you have to go up to the 4th floor to get around because Studio B, the ice rink, breaks up the 3rd floor between the front and the back of the ship. So here we are. This is the Studio B theater. It's also the ice rink. They have a show in here. There's also free skate. It's free. It's no extra charge. You have to sign a waiver and be sure you show up with long pants and not shorts and wear socks. I showed up in shorts, had to go back to my cabin to get pants on before I could put the skates on to get on the ice. And I survived. And they will alternate days. Every other day is this, and then on the other days they'll have the show. They won't do the free skate and the shows on the same day. Once we get to the other side, we have the Sapphire, which is the main dining room. It is 3 levels on this ship. It is on levels 3, 4, and 5. So this is the main level. This is where most of the dining times are. You can take the staircase up to each floor. There's a conductor statue. Said most of our dining time, we were the 5 o'clock my time dining. And we started out on floor 3, but then whenever we got moved with the rest of our party, we went up to the 4th floor. See, it's a big dining room. It's very pretty. It's more elegant than some of them. And like the other royal ships, you have your readouts over by the elevators. So now here's the staircase that goes up from the 3rd floor to the 4th floor. 4th floor has a lot of the 4th floor and 5th floor have a lot of your amenities places on it, your restaurants, your bars, shops. So we'll start here with Chops Grill. This is one of the extra pay restaurants on the boat. And I'm going to apologize now for my camera gear liking to show up in the bottom corner. This one seems smaller than the Chops Grill that was on the Serenade of the Seas, which I thought was odd because this is a bigger boat. It just appeared that way. Whether or not it's actually smaller, I don't know. When you step outside of Chops, there's the elevators. I'm polite. I didn't want to shut the door hard. There's your entries to the Lyric Theater, which you're getting into on the 3rd and 4th floor. The 5th floor above it is the Imperial Lounge. Look up to the skylight. Now we'll head over here to the Schooner Bar. This is where they have a lot of the trivias and the towel folding and a couple other activities. So you can see for a bigger ship, it only has 2 elevator banks. So if you're going into anything on the aft of the ship, it's a long haul to get to an elevator bank. It's one of the design things about this for being a bigger ship that I wasn't really big on. I really kind of missed the headless people that were in the schooner bar on the Serenade of the Seas. But this one seemed a lot smaller than the Serenades as well. And I don't know if it's just the way it's laid out. Because there at the Serenades, you also had your restaurants, your Giovanni's Table and Royal Table, and Chops were all there with Schooner Bar. You get to the Schooner Bar, you head to the Casino Royale, and then here's a real quick look inside the Lyric Theater. It was really kind of a plain theater. It's not much decoration. The shows were okay. As far as entertainment goes, they were really kind of basic. Not to take away from the singers and dancers, they were fantastic, but it's just the production value just seemed like a high school play with like no decorations. So here now we are on the fourth floor looking down. That is the photo area outside of Studio B. And this is what we affectionately call the tornado because that's what it looks like. All right, then over here, this is Boleros, which is a bar, the little bandstand there, dance floor. Small bar, seating there around the side by the windows. It's really kind of claustrophobic once you get back in there. As you can see, it's really tight. With oddly placed mirrors. On the other side of the stairs is another lounge area. It doesn't have like its own, doesn't have a dance floor thing. It's seating. It's referred to as another bar. This is where they have some of the like rum tastings and rum pairings and things like that. We had a rum tasting experience here. Then you come around here to the doorway to like a door. That's where you get on and off the ship whenever you're in uh, port when you disembark and embark. And even though there is a sign here that talks about the elevation change, I still about tripped and killed myself about 12 times. And that's on the low count. So be warned. All right, so here we are showing the entrance to the fourth floor of the Sapphire main dining room. I did like the fact they roped off the entrance side from the exit side. It's really helped with crowd control, which was one of my main complaints about the main dining room on the Serenade of the Seas, was the absolute madhouse it was at the only entrance on the main floor to the dining room. Didn't ever really see anybody up on the third floor as much. It seemed everybody was on the third floor and the fourth floor. Seemed on the fourth floor was most of your bigger group tables. There were some 2-4 people tables, but it seemed like most of your bigger groups were placed on the fourth floor. Get a nice pretty view of the chandelier. And if you look across there at the stairs, seemed like a little bougie area to eat. I wasn't quite bougie enough. I didn't get to eat over there. Fourth floor seemed like the fourth floor was mostly used for dinner. Third floor was mostly where we ate lunch and breakfast. If we went to the main dining room. Yeah, they have weird random costumes, but nothing's as weird as the demonic puppets that were on floor 9 by our room. So that takes us to deck 5, and this is where all the action is. It features the Imperial Lounge, which they have a lot of games, get-togethers. Here's the 5th floor area for the Sapphire main dining room. So this one just seemed pretty swanky. I don't know if it was for higher levels because you had a lot nicer chairs. Yeah, all these nice armchairs. Yeah, it seems a lot smaller. It seemed like there wasn't as much room up here as there was on the other 2 floors. And there's that bougie area. Whether or not it was really bougie, we don't know. That was just kind of the joke for the week. It's one thing you'll always get from me, and I promise you, I will tell it like it is. I won't sugarcoat it. I will tell you my honest opinion. Yeah, after I passed, these guys were looking at me like, what is he doing? Like they've never seen somebody come through with a camera before. All right, so now as we head out of the Sapphire dining room, go over the floor that tries to kill me. Yeah, even though it has that sign. So, as we're approaching the Royal Promenade, over here on my right, you have guest services. The tornado from a different vantage. So there's your guest services desk, and just past it is your shore excursions desk. On the other side, this is the champagne bar. And here's the cafe promenade, the cafe that's on the promenade. This is where they have your sandwiches, things like that. The pizza is served here. This is a changeover from breakfast, so they didn't have the pizza out yet, but this is where your pizza's at. Which it was just like the pizza we had on the Serenade. It was average pizza. So here we are looking back from the end of the Royal Promenade. We're getting ready to go back in. We're getting ready to go into the Royal Promenade, which there are some serious design issues with the Royal Promenade. Here to the left is your internet service desk. And the bad thing about these ship things here is everybody stood there and used them as tables and clogged up the walkways, which were narrow already because of the shops and the things in the middle. Here's your jewelry shop, which has a lot of your Effie stuff. Across from it, your general store. Izumi. It's a lot easier to get to on the promenade, on the Royal Promenade, than what it is outside, out back, cut off from civilization on the Serenade. There's your royal shop that has your royal branded gear. Funny thing about the Duck and Dog, this is their pub. And on the elevators, all the elevators listed as the Duck and Pug instead of Duck and Dog. I just thought that was, at first I thought it was the one elevator that was messed up, but no, it's like all the elevator signs listed as the Pug. Here's your Coke Freestyles, which, if the Windjammer is closed, this is the only place on the ship that you can get it refilled. So the line can get kind of long. And this becomes a really huge choke point right here. One, because of the Coke Freestyles. Then you have the line here for the ice cream, which can back up a lot. And across from the ice cream stand is a stage where they will have bands. So between people getting in line and then people standing around watching the band, and as far as the stage for the band comes out, it is a really bad choke point right there because it's narrow anyway. It was a really bad design to put the stage there. The stage should have been somewhere else, and it makes for a really crowded time. See, there's a stage there by the stairs. And then there's another one of the ships right there, the ship models, which people use as tables. So now we're on the other end. This is the Imperial Lounge. And as you enter in, before you head into the Imperial Lounge, on the right is the card room, which they will hold some of the jewelry specials. This room was always usually full. It's kind of a lower time. The Imperial Lounge, they had meet and greets, games, various things. And of course, there's a bar. I mean, you can't have a lounge on a cruise ship without a bar. Or go anywhere where there's going to be people without a bar. Like there was a bar at the ice skating rink. So there's a stage up front, and then everything kind of surrounds a floor, an open floor in the middle. It could be a dance floor. It's where the game participants are. Okay, so now on the 5th floor, we're going to go out to the observation deck where you can go out to the helipad. Because of where the doors going outside and you have to go up the stairs is situated, this one's a longer walk than what you'd be used to on some of the other ones. You can pop in and out on the sides, but I wanted to show you the stairway. And as usual on a cruise ship, the wind is howling through there. Just like that. The observation deck, this one had a lot more benches than when we went on the Serenade. It also seemed a lot smaller. But it was a nice place to go sit and watch the ocean as you tried to not blow away. All right, now we're to the 6th floor. Outside of cabins, the only thing on the 6th floor of note is the next cruise area, where they will gladly help you book your next cruise. And it's got a great view of the promenade. So now we'll go to 7, which same thing as like 6. It's mostly cabins, and then you have the library. Which all these places are by the main elevator bank. And the 8th floor, you have rooms, cabins, and Royal Caribbean Online, where you can go and use the internet. And it's got this nice little opening where you can stare down at the people in the library, making them uncomfortable while they're trying to read, and you can just stare at them for a while. Now, floors 9 and 10 are all cabins. So we don't get anything else until we get to 11. And 11 is another main deck. Like 4 and 5, there's a lot of stuff on here. We're going to start over here to the side. On this ship, this is where Giovanni's Table is at. And Giovanni's Table is the extra fee Italian restaurant. It's a little scooter you can pose with like you're in Italy. And I feel like the same thing, this one just seems smaller, which was just weird, thinking that it was smaller on a bigger ship. Now we're going to come around the corner here past the stairs, and we will finally be at the Windjammer, which is your main buffet. Of course, they're selling drinks outside. Don't forget when you're walking into Washi Washi. So I wasn't going in there to touch anything. I still washed my hand. When you first go in, there's a handicap seating area there to the right. If there's a lot of people around this front buffet area, it gets really tight and congested through here. Once again, it's a layout issue. And then everything just kind of follows and flows around. You'll have two main sides. Most of the time, they're the same, but like the right side might have one item different than the left side. So you kind of have to do a complete loop to make sure you have everything covered. Come over here, there's a station with fruits, a drink station. And back here, if you turn to the right, this is the first of the two Coke Freestyles, which whenever the Windjammer's closed, you lose access to. Same thing with all the drink stations. There's another section back here. This has salads. This is where your hot dogs and hamburgers are at in this back area. And it has different things than what's on the two sides. Then your dessert area. Okay, then behind the desserts, there's the main condiment table. There's condiments on each ends of the bars, but that's the main one. And speaking of bars, it's the Windjammer bar. Plenty of seating. Back here, you also have another drink station. They do have hot chocolate, and you can get a pack if you ask. Then over here on the right is the second of the Coke Freestyle machines. You come to the door, another drink station, and another fruit station that mirrors the other side. Get some condiments here at the end. This walkway here also gets kind of tight and narrow depending on how many people are eating. And like I said, there might be one item, maybe two items difference between the two sides. So if you're curious, always be sure to check it out. And the thing that makes it kind of tight around there is people just like to stand there in the way. This is kind of congested too, as you have people trying to use the sinks on both sides. As you're trying to exit, you have to try to worm your way through the middle. And here is the typical cruise ship wall of plaques. They even have a large gold key. All right, outside there's the Arctic Zone, which is the only place to get the free ice cream on the boat. It's also not self-serve, unlike Carnival. This one, they'll have somebody there that will get it for you. So here on deck 11, this is the main pool area. There's the large pool in the middle. Back here at this end, you have the children's splash zone area. It has a couple water slides, some water sport things, small slides, splash areas, a couple of big hot tubs on each side of the pool. And here's the screen that they show movies on. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of good seating that doesn't have some kind of obstruction. The sky bar and the pool bar, these tiered areas here you would think would be good to watch the movies on, but the railings get in your way, and also those awnings and different coverings and overhangs over parts of the pool, they also get in your way. Over here to the lifeguard station. And the Tide and Trail Adventure, where you can buy stuff for excursions and things like that, water sports stuff. never really seemed to be open. So through this door now, we will reach the solarium, which, if you've been on Royal Caribbean ships before, the solarium is the adult-only area. And this area was just absolutely packed the entire time. This one's an open-air solarium. Nice size pool. It wasn't too deep. I didn't feel like I was going to drown. 2 huge hot tubs. They were kept very warm, and I felt like somebody was going to come by and chuck vegetables in and turn me into a pot of stew. Here is the solarium bar where you can purchase a nice cocktail or a beverage. And if you go out the back and then come around the other direction, this will be the back, like if you're turning around and looking toward where you would come out of the Windjammer. And this is the opposite side. At the back. And if you go through this door, I'll get over to it here in a second. I thought I'd be able to get the plaque good. So this door, this will take you out to the elevator bank, stairs. And if we go in the middle here between the stairs, this is where we will find the Vitality area, which is your spa and physical fitness center. Here on deck 11, on this floor, this is where the fitness center's at. If you keep going past the desk, past the stairs, and it has your typical fitness center fare, ellipticals, bikes, treadmills, light weights, things like that. I didn't go in because I didn't want to make people self-conscious. And I know if somebody came in and was filming and I'm trying to work out, it would probably freak me out a little bit. So if we go up the stairs, this will take us to the spa area. And when you reach the top, you will find somebody there trying to sell you on spa treatments. So now we are on the 12th floor. There's also a salon. And since we're on the 12th floor, we're going to hop on out. And there is a lot of stuff on the 12th floor as well. The 12th floor works as mostly your athletic themed deck. So as we come out here, this overlooks the solarium area. You can also rent these nice cabanas, which I'm pretty sure I didn't see anybody in the entire time. It was a spring break cruise. Everybody was just paying to drink. Speaking of drink, here on the right is the Sky Bar. On the left is the ocean. And another empty cabana. I think they had put the reserve signs on just to mess with our heads. They really weren't rented. There's the Sky Bar with the Weird Adventure of the Seas crest on the top. More empty cabanas on the other side. The 12th floor, the 12th also has the walking track, jogging track there. So now as we come over to the glassed area, this divider, this will be where Challenger's Arcade and Optics is at. The arcade, self-explanatory. Optics is the teen club area. And also going this way will get you to the 2 water slides, Adventure Dunes Mini Golf, Johnny Rockets, which Johnny Rockets is themed after a 50s diner, and we will come back to it momentarily. We're going to step inside the arcade. First off to the right, this is Optics, which is the teen club. It's the teen hangout. Even they have a thing that looks like a bar. Feel like we're training kids early. Typical arcade. It's got your shooting games, racing games, claw games, skee ball. And this arcade, off to the side here, is a door to the adventure group. This is the kids area, like the little kids. There's some air hockey tables. And if you're going through this way, you can access the back of Optics. Johnny Rockets. We tried Johnny Rockets on the first day. This is an extra charge for burger and fries, onion rings. It's a flat rate, and then you just pick whatever. Everybody talked about it, talked it up a lot. I was really kind of disappointed. It was good. It was passable. Is it the best burger I've had? No. Was it the worst burger I've ever had? No. The Oreo shake we had was decent. The onion rings were very greasy and oily. I had the bacon cheddar fries, and those were good. But overall, Johnny Rockets was average. And I know some people will probably say that's blasphemy, but I was really missing a guy's burger at this point. Yeah, inside you can sit at like a counter service, like an old diner. You can sit outside. It seemed like outside of when we ate there, every time I went by here filming, they were always closed. I think they knew I was going to be critical of their burgers, so they didn't want me to go inside. So as we pass Johnny Rockets, there straight ahead, you can see part of the Adventure Dunes Golf, which is on 2 floors. Here are the twin water slides. And we're back on the 11th floor, on deck 11. And right here you have your ping pong tables. This was a really nice protected area from the wind, to where you could actually play ping pong. So your final few holes for Adventure Dunes is on the 11th floor. The main part of it is on the 12th. And also when you go up to the 12th, this is where you will get to the Flow Rider. And the Flow Rider is like a wave simulator, and it's an extra cost activity. It's not included, which surprised me about the ice skating. I was really surprised that the ice skating was free. And since I did the ice skating in Tempted Fate and managed not to die doing that, I was not going to tempt fate with the Flow Rider. I will save that for another cruise. I can only tempt fate once per cruise. And here are the stairs to go up to the water slides. And this is also where you buy your tickets for the Flow Rider. And here's the first set of holes for Adventure Dunes. And when you get to this hole, when you hit it down, it'll go down this track and usually get stuck. So you have to lean over, hit your golf club on the track to get it to go free. it was a fun course, but it was difficult because there's no dividers. There's no dividers between any of the holes. There's no dividers on the sides. There's nothing to stop your golf ball anywhere. As you can see, it's all flat. There's no raised embankments, nothing. So your ball travels far. Over here to the left is your basketball courts. And it was used a lot for pickleball. And I did not realize how hardcore people were about pickleball. It was about to get bloody at times. So now we're up to 14. This is where your lounges are at, like your suite lounge. This one was the private function. It was a prayer group, so I did not go in. On sail away, we went up to the deck to watch the boat leave Port Canaveral. And this boat has a really cool thing called the peekaboo deck. And the peekaboo deck is above the bridge. So you can go down, and they have a bank of windows that you can look down and stare at the pilots and the captain and such while they try to drive the boat. And there you can see the people on the observation deck as we're doing the sail away. It was really cool being able to observe the bridge. Disney ships. Right now, my next booked cruise is on the Treasure, and I cannot wait to go on that. Have plenty of footage from that later. All right, back down to 14. This is the Blue Moon Lounge. And it kind of wraps around there to the back. You have bathrooms over here to the right. And if you go up these stairs, it'll take you to the only thing on deck 15. This is pretty much the highest point on the boat that you can, on the ship you can go to. This is the chapel. As you look at it here, it's very nondescript. It's non-denominational. I was kind of surprised they didn't have any kind of official church services in here. But it's a nice place if you were going to have a wedding or some meeting or function. Okay, that's the end of the tour. I'd like to thank you guys for coming along here at the Crossroads for the tour of Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas. If you like this kind of stuff, drop a like for the video and subscribe. And thanks for coming to the Crossroads. And I hope to see you again. Thanks and goodbye.